Hey guys, I'm in Orlando, Florida. I'm at one of the urban plots of a really cool organization I'm going to tell you all about today called Fleet Farming. This is a not-for-profit, decentralized urban farm that I'm very honored to say was inspired by a lot of the earlier work I was doing, and I was here when they were just getting started, and they've expanded to a lot of other enterprises right now besides just farming urban plots and growing greens like you see in the plot with me. I'm going to have a chat with Lee Perry, who is the principal organizer of Fleet Farming, and she's been involved with them since the beginning. So she's seen this organization change. And one thing I want to say right off the bat that I think is super cool about Fleet Farming is it gives people an opportunity to get involved in growing food, and I get excited about that when I think that kids can see this kind of stuff and get stoked and inspired and either grow food for themselves to eat or start their own business. And I think that's awesome. That's exactly what this kind of thing should do. So I'm going to chat with Lee Perry and we'll get a little tour of some of the other plots here at Fleet Farming. All right, Lee, thanks for joining me.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great. I'm happy to be here. I'm excited to see how far this thing has come. It's been a long time.
It's come a far way in
Yeah.
just a very short period of time.
So, I've got lots of questions for you, and I'm sure people watching are really curious, but tell us about what Fleet Farming is doing right now, and we'll kind of get into some of the other stuff as well.
Okay, sure. So right now Fleet Farming is trying to pilot this program that started originally in a middle to upper income level community in Audubon Park, which is just north of Orlando. Now we're piloting it thanks to the USDA here into West Orlando, which is an underserved community where the average annual income is about $15,000 a year.
Okay, so this particular site we're at, tell us about this place.
So a year or so ago, when we found out we were receiving $50,000 from the USDA, I had no idea where to start. You know, we already had volunteers that were committed in Audubon Park, and yet this was a very gentrified community that no one necessarily invited us to come and farm here. So I had to build partnerships and show that this community could trust this new organization coming in. So I just started walking around on the streets and talking to people, asking who owned this lot, who owned this church, who owned this building. And eventually I met with Demetrius Somerville, who is the executive director of Kelowna Square Community Center, which is this location that we currently are. And at the time, it was a fixer-upper. He was gutting this church out to make it into a really awesome community center and needed hands. And, you know, Fleet Farming is really notorious for being able to move large groups of people and do big projects. So in exchange for some of the activities that we do here on site, he also is letting us operate out of an office building and convert these underutilized lawns on property. And that's how the partnership started.
So is it all based now in this area of Orlando? It's no longer in what's it called?
Audubon Park.
Audubon Park or Winter Park or any of those areas?
No, actually, so we still have a fully fledged, built out urban agriculture program in Audubon Park.
Yeah.
And now also here in Holden Heights, which is where Kelowna Square is currently located, as well as Paramore, which is just the next neighborhood north of Holden Heights. And we have a 1/4 acre farm there and some smaller installs at local schools and affordable housing units.
How many total plots is Fleet Farming at this point?
A little over 25.
Holy crap, that's a lot.
Almost 30.
So how many people, like how many core staff are there with like you, and how many people that are like dedicated full-time or whatever? Mm-hmm. And then I guess not including any of the swarm riders.
Yeah, 10.
10
people on our team.
Yeah, and where are you guys selling your stuff right now?
So we sell to local vendors like Lazy Moon, Sanctum, Hubbly Bubbly, a couple other farm-to-table restaurants that change their menu based on whatever local farmers have to offer. And then we also sell at the Lake Eola Farmers Market on Sundays and the Audubon Park Farmers Market Monday nights, as well as the Paramore Farmers Market, which will be starting back up the first of the year.
So you guys are just doing farmers markets, you don't have any commercial accounts or anything like that?
No,
No.
not at this time.
And okay, so talk about the swarm rides.
Okay.
Tell us about the swarm rides.
So here in West Orlando, we do stationary swarm rides just because our plots are pretty much all in one location. We don't bike from location to location. But in Audubon Park, every second and fourth Sunday, we meet at East End Market with Mr. John Rife, who's here. And we meet there 9 a.m. We just talk a little bit about the mission, why farming local is important environmentally, economically, etc. And then we get on our bikes and we ride out with volunteers. However, my farmers are farming every single day, so we have upwards of 80 interns at any given time helping us. Here in West Orlando, we have every Friday on our quarter-acre farm, which used to be Growing Orlando's farm, but Brent Buffington, my dear friend, moved to Tampa. And so we inherited this farm. And we do just open to the community farming days every Friday from 9 to 1. And then here at Cayley Square, we do after school programs, workshops, and then we do a stationary swarm every first Saturday of the month.
Very cool. What are some of the reactions of younger kids that come that are new to the whole swarm thing? Like, what are they kind of, they've never seen food grown before? Like, what's the experience like for these younger folks?
So it's very different actually from both parts of the community. Most kids in Audubon Park and Winter Park, they are a little bit more familiar with growing food, or at least can understand germination and propagating a little bit more clearly. But still they think ew at first, and then they become a lot more experimental as they go throughout the swarm. Here in West Orlando, some of the children do not know the difference between potato chips, or potatoes. Like, they do not understand or correlate the fact that potato chips come from potatoes, or that carrots have green tops. And so we really try to start small and expose the students that we do after school programs to this new vocabulary. And by the end of the semester, they're pulling radishes out of the ground and taking bites. It's really awesome to see.
That's awesome. So what else can I, what kind of crops specifically are you guys growing at Fleet Farming? Because you're not doing everything.
No. We have a very great variety. West Orlando, when I was, just walking around talking to people here in the community, I noticed that there's a large Caribbean American population. So I started doing my research and finding some awesome varieties of like Jamaican greens, like callaloo, which is also called red-veined amaranth, that grows like a weed here, and it's super delicious. Also, there are some things like yucca, chaya, moringa, awesome varieties of edible trees that we plant at our South Street farm, and also you'll see we have a food forest here.
So this is like the headquarters. This is where you do all the washing and.
Yeah, we also can wash at East End Market and in Audubon Park too, but this is where we do the bulk of our washing and everything. So.
Wow, this is great.
Thanks. So these are our
look at this. Yeah, full on green screen. Perfect. Oh, wow. You do all your washing and stuff in here?
Yeah.
Cool.
But most of our salads we sell unwashed because the vendors have spinners on site.
Exactly.
But if we ever need to wash our greens, we have clamshells now that are plant-based, so they're biodegradable, which is really great. And we have our little spinners and everything.
Nice.
So.
Nice. Where do you get these world-centric?
Yes.
Okay.
We buy them in bulk. They're pretty inexpensive. So.
Oh, that's cool.
And we just label everything. We try not to wash a lot. We try to sell beans and stuff right off the farmlet because it's all organic and it's way easier. We don't use any pesticides or inorganic fertilizers. So.
Wow. So you guys like rent this space from them, or they just donate it to you?
They just let us operate out of here because when we first moved in, this entire place was full with furniture from the floor to the ceiling. So we cleaned it all out with a couple action days where we had hundreds of volunteers from the different universities come out. We had volunteers from companies come out that just wanted to give back. And now we are able to operate out of here thanks
Wow.
to the Haddock Foundation. The Haddock
Very
Foundation
cool.
owns this property.
Okay. Wow, so you guys just built this into the, you just built it into the building.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, wow. Nice. That's great.
So I have the farmers from the 2 branches. They come, they put everything here that's unwashed. Anything that's been washed and ready to sell is here, and then anything ready to donate, we put up against this wall.
Okay.
So we have a local, in this building and at some of our locations, we have like a beer cooler where we just stock it with any excess produce that we haven't sold. So we just keep it going to donation. There's also a group called Ebony Nutrition, and they do nutrition classes, and they also received a grant to convert an old city bus. So now they have a mobile farmers market, and we donate some of our produce to them as well.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah. So we wanted to, as you can see, everything's very like out in the open.
Yeah.
You know, it's a community center, so this is supposed to be a hub for the community. And we planted a bunch of fruit trees like bananas. We have some yucca, papayas, and then some ground covering plants like this Malabar spinach, which is really great, and blueberry bushes, which are doing great. And then, oh look, there's bananas already coming up. I didn't even realize.
Oh, look at this.
So cute.
Nice.
All along our farmlets, we try to do some type of food forestry just so that we can create a really nice habitat for the good bugs.
Yeah.
And obviously so that we can reap the benefits of harvesting when we are low on a product, maybe in the middle of summer.
Yeah.
So it's really great.
So fleet farming isn't just farming plots now. Before we were talking a little bit about the edible landscaping you guys are doing. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Sure. So back in 2014, we realized that vegetable sales are so low in comparison to what they should be. This country really undervalues the amount of time, energy, and work that's put into growing vegetables. And because the average farmer utilizes, you know, migrant workers at an inhumane wage to farm these huge monocrop farms, it's doing our society a disservice by bringing those costs so low.
Yeah.
So we were not able to sustain ourselves off of just vegetable sales, and we created a couple revenue streams. The most successful is called our Edible Landscapes program, and that's where we build gardens for people who are outside of our biking range or farming range where our branches are headquartered. And we've had thousands of inquiries all throughout Central Florida and all throughout the world. So it was a market that basically showed itself for us. And ever since then, we've done hospitals, affordable housing units, assisted living facilities, veterans homes, women's rehabilitation clinics for therapy gardens, and of course, the average person's home as well.
So how does that work? People pay you a fee to come in and do it, or you mentioned before there's like a reoccurring like maintenance fee or something like that. Talk about that a little bit.
So basically a person will inquire and say, I want a garden, I don't know even where to start or what my yard can handle. We come out and do a consultation. We build out a proposal based on the person's budget and a customized view of what their dream garden would be. And then we're able to make the sale and do the installation with a team that we have trained on staff. So
that's super cool.
It's really great. And the thing is that it's really affordable in comparison to some of the other white glove edible landscaping companies that do really large installations. We know our demographic of people are people who just want to give something a try, but they don't want to go to Home Depot and spend a bunch of money just to have a project fail. They want to know that their money is going to go to an organization that obviously utilizes the revenue to sustain our free education events, but also we make sure that they are left with a packet that has a step-by-step of how to take care of the garden so that they're not left high and dry.
Lee, how do people get involved with fleet farming?
They can check out our free events all over Facebook, either on our West Orlando site or on our Audubon Park site. Just look up Fleet Farming. You can also donate at our website, fleetfarming.org, or send us an inquiry. I have tons of packets that I've made that are educational resources for a first-time gardener, long-term urban farmer. Just email me at info@fleetfarming.org with your questions, and check out our Instagram and social media too.
Awesome. Thanks, Lee.
Of course. Thank you.
Well, that's Fleet Farming. Pretty awesome organization. Lee mentioned all the information you need if you want to check them out. I'll leave that in the show notes. And subscribe if you haven't, hit that little notification bell if you want to see these videos consistently. All right, guys, talk to you later.